No, sir. Nervous. Hey, what's up? It's Holden Kushner here with Mr. $100,000 winner, JSU. Second time in what, a week? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we're not keeping score here. We're not keeping track.
I am, because I want to raise. That's it. We're done. Mangone, what's up, buddy? How are you? You didn't win 100 last night.
No. I mean,
and he also didn't sweat it out with me either. He had to go and I don't know, go to bed or play video games or whatever he did.
I went to finish up some stuff. Make sure that some things were buttoned up behind the scenes. Handle some things, and then I was watching Big Brother while I was doing it. So had to catch up on the Big Brother. A little bit behind 2 episodes. You can't fall behind on Big Brother because it's like 3 episodes a week. So put it on in the background while I did some RPS stuff. So that's all.
Yeah, I left last night. I did some baseball research and then watched the movie. So I just didn't want to sit around with you guys anymore. It was too much. I was so jealous. Hit the like button. Big T isn't here. What, can we do 125 likes today, JSU? We all right to do 125?
You know what? Let's go halfway through the show and see how many live viewers we have, and then we'll make that decision. But you know what? You guys are bad friends, by the way. If you guys were sweating out 6 figures, I wouldn't leave you guys hanging on a live show. I would sweat it out with you guys.
You've done it so many times. It's like, big deal. Who cares? JS, whatever.
Again, we're not keeping track right now. We're just going. We're just running pure. Like, we'll just keep going. Today's a new day.
Besides for, winning. That's it. Winners win, right? All right. So anyways,
right.
Here's the deal. Hit the like button. It's wonderful. We do have small shirts. Mangone, can you fit into a small shirt?
I could definitely fit into one, but I'd rather rock the medium. The medium's more comfortable. I could fit into it if I had to, right? If you told me, hey, you can get JSU's 100K to fit in that small Holden, I can fit in and look pretty decent too.
I told you, man, I want mesh. I want my belly button sticking out, and I am sexy. Let's get into pitching tonight. Yesterday we had a lot of good pitching, and today I don't know if we could say the same thing, so I'll let you guys figure that out. But let's get into this. In the top tier, and we've got Aaron Nola on the mound tonight, so that's kind of nice. At least one guy that has had a ton of success here this season. Walker Buehler, who's really struggled, very surprisingly. John Lester, Lance McCullers. Nobody's touching Lester, right? McCullers, Odorizzi. So, Mangone, let's start with you here. Nola, Buehler, do you have to go up this high? And if not, where can you go?
Yeah, so overall, this is a pretty interesting slate. I know there's one pitcher for sure that I feel good about in cash games. Then other than that, I mean, it gets kind of rough. At the top, we'll talk about 2 of them. I think the 2 to really discuss at the top that matter the most, that people might have the biggest decisions to be making, are between Aaron. I was going to call him Aaron Buehler and Walker Nola. I mean Walker Buehler and Aaron Nola. Those are the guys that I mean. And looking at both, it's a tough call. Aaron Nola, he gets a spot against an Atlanta team, and Atlanta, their offense hasn't been as great. They've definitely been a little watered down with Acuna out and everything. Walker Buehler, though, he gets a spot against Colorado. And Colorado is terrible on the road, right? They are absolutely terrible. And Buehler, he's a pretty good pitcher overall. We've been worried about his pitch count towards the start of the year, but I think this is a spot where we want to go get on the Buehler at 10.2K. I think he's one of the best pitchers on the slate, and I think he's one of the best cash game guys.
What about you, JSU?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Walker Buehler. Like Mangone was saying, I think he's a really solid spend up today. For me personally, though, I kind of I hate John Lester. I'll talk about this again. Last time we were on the show, I think we were on the show together, Holden, when John Lester was pitching. And I just said he's one of those guys who, he just doesn't get hit enough. He should get shelled, but he just doesn't get shelled for some reason. I think he's washed. I don't think he's good. But he just never gets hit enough where I want to roster him at 9K. Aaron Nola is a really solid pitcher. I think if I had to choose between these guys in the 9K range, Lance McCullers, it would Jake Odorizzi, it would probably be Buehler. I don't think I really want to play anyone else in this 9K range. I mean, Jake Odorizzi has kind of a soft matchup against KC, but I don't want to pay 9K for him. I think there's some pitchers down low that we can kind of discuss as we get into the mid tier. Honestly, I might just be Xing out everyone but Bueller and maybe Nola too. I think, though, if I had to choose between the two, I'm with Mangone. I think I would choose Bueller. I don't know. Mangone, so do you like Bueller over Nola?
Yeah, I mean, I like Bueller over Nola. I think he makes a ton of sense here in this spot. I mean, if you look at the team total, that makes sense. It's the Braves too, right? Are they the offense we really want to attack? Like, it looks like Nola is going to be kind of chalky, and I get it. Nola, he's a solid overall pitcher, but this Braves team, yeah, the lineup, it's definitely a little more watered down, but I just think it's Bueller over him. We know this Rockies team is terrible, right? Like, they're a team I love to target, so I think I'd rather.
Their lineup is watered down, though. I will say, like, I get the chalkiness, but I do think I rather attack with Bueller and attack Colorado. I don't know.
Isn't it odd? Isn't it odd though, JSU, to see like Nola's not even a favorite. He's a plus 105 to Max Fried. Like, it just kind of confuses me a bit. I'll pull up the K props real quick just to see what the big difference is. I'm forgetting what it is.
Well, while you do that, let me ask JSU something, because what we got here with Walker is we got a declining K rate. Again, small sample, but it's down to about 21%. He's given up 48% fly balls. This is also a guy that's walking more this year. He's over 11%. So, like, I get it. Bueller is a pedigree, but how nervous does it make you, the start that he's gotten off to? It doesn't seem like at all.
Yeah, I mean, it does make me nervous. But again, like Mangone was saying about Nola, he's going to be really chalky. And hopefully Bueller won't be as it looks right now. So if I can get the ownership leverage on the field and he comes out, I mean, he's still got all the talent in the world. Yeah, there's a decline, but I don't know. I still think he's a really solid pitcher, and I do like this matchup against Colorado. And I just don't think, like Mangone said, like Nola's a plus 105 or a minus one, a dog to Max Fried. Like that worries me a little bit here. Like, that's got to worry some people. I know he's been doing really well, but I don't know. That just doesn't seem right. You got the K prop, Mangone?
Yeah, so it's like surprising, right? Walker Bueller, he's 6.5 Ks, but it's juiced on the over. Aaron Nola, he's at 7.5, and he's juiced on the unders. So definitely in like a similar spot on those guys. Obviously one's juiced on the other side, but you expect it kind of be in like the same range where they're expecting the Ks to lie. So I'm just going with Bueller. I think he's the better option. It kind of comes off like a point that Tony makes sometimes. Like, seeing like Nola as like a plus 105, like a lot of people would be like, oh, I gotta bet Nola, right? Because he's plus 105. Like, this seems like a perfect spot, right? This seems like a great line. But the more I look at it, it just feels like a trap, right? I'm just not feeling Nola here in this spot. I feel like Vegas knows something. And maybe it's obviously what you're talking about, Holden, right? Like the declining K rate and all those things that are factored in. And hey, the Braves, sure, they might be a wear down lineup, but they're still hitting the ball pretty well right now.
All right, so then we got this next tier. This is interesting because Max Fried is out there going against Philadelphia. But we talked about the other side with Nola. I wonder what you guys think about Fried. If you just look at the numbers on DK, 24 in his last start, 23.6. He's got 3 out of his last 4 starts, and 3 out of 5 on the year have been 20-plus performances. You are paying 8.9 on him. Fires Adrian Hauser with a magnificent matchup, Milwaukee at Pittsburgh. We also have Keuchel, who is a much better real-life pitcher this year than a DFS pitcher. And then DeSclafani and Hudson going head-to-head with St. Louis and the Reds. So let me ask you first about DeSclafani. And I want to go to you on this, Mangone, because he got shelled in his last start, but he was tremendous in his first 2 starts. He does have some weird splits. He's given up some fly balls. I think it's to left-handers. But is this an option tonight?
Yeah, so the start he got shelled, Holden. Remember, that was the one I said, the Pirates, right? In Cincinnati's ballpark. It was a great one. The subs 8 from that. JT, who won 100K, he suggested it too in his playbook. So ultimately, we got the right call on him. This time, I think you could take some shots on some Cardinals here and there, but I don't think you need to go out there and stack them a ton, right? This is a ballpark upgrade for a guy like DeSclafani. I'm just going to chalk it up to, hey, like the Pirates had a nice ballpark upgrade. The wind was blowing out. The weather was good. I think DeSclafani, I don't think he's just like this complete gas can now, right? So I'm perfectly fine. If you want to, play DeSclafani at 8.1K, I don't hate it, but I do have some interest in some Cardinals here and there when we get to kind of talking about the stacks.
Okay. JSU, just quick thoughts on DeSclafani and anybody else that's in that area, maybe a Max Fried or a Hauser, anybody that you're looking at there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Max Fried has been pitching tremendously. And honestly, like I said, with most of these 9K guys outside of like Nola and Bueller, I mean, like I'd prefer Fried over those other guys. Fires, I'd rather have Fried. Hauser, I still would want Fried. I mean, him to me in this range, and I think DeSclafani I would look at too, just because I think he has a pretty solid matchup. And yeah, he got shelled last time, but I still think he's a little better pitcher than what he showed. And I don't mind him against the St. Louis team. So I'm fine with that. But I think, again, we're going to find there's definitely a pitcher or two that we're going to get to as we get down here. Two that are actually in the same matchup, honestly, that I really like. So we'll get there in a sec.
Let's do it. Let's just go there now because I want to know. We all want to know. Anything you say right now is going to win us 100K. So give me the names. Who are your guys?
Well, I really like this Texas-Seattle game for the pitchers standpoint. Margevicius, is that how you say his name, Holden?
What's that? Margevicius.
Margevicius. Did I say it right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, that means it's going to be a good day today, people. So, but he's 5'7" on DK, and last time out against Houston, he was great, and he generated a ton of ground balls. He gets a Texas team. Texas has been kind of struggling, and lefty. I don't mind attacking Texas with the lefty, so I like him in this matchup. I think it helps you get some of these higher priced bats. I like him, and I like Allard too on the other side. For Texas, I think Allard's a pretty solid pitcher. Last time out, he was in Coors. He got hit around a tough matchup, but before that, he had two solid outings before. So I'll take him against this Seattle team. I like it, and I like the lefty against Seattle too. And we've been picking on Seattle all year, so why not? I think this kid's got some talent. Honestly, I don't mind playing both of these pitchers if you can find a stack that you love that's expensive. I don't mind stacking both of them together in tournaments.
You just got me thinking about going under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. That's really low, though. But
that is low. Yeah.
Maybe 5.
I mean, I kind of like it, but it is low.
Yeah, that. Well, that just backs up your point here that these two pitchers have a little bit of advantage. Yeah. I like the Margevicius call. How about you, Mangone? We got through the top guys and a couple of middle guys. Now where do we go?
Yeah, so let me talk about the middle a little bit before I get down to the bottom, guys. We talked about DeSclafani a little bit. I'm not interested in Dallas Keuchel. No need for him. You know me. I don't want to touch Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers is a fraud, right? What was the narrative? I forget what I normally said. The snitches get stitches, man. Like, dude, that dude. We're not rostering Mike Fiers all year long. He's terrible. Out on him. And this mid-tier in general, it's not the greatest. If you force me to pick a mid-tier arm, Holden, the one I'm going with is Andrew Heaney. That'd be the guy, right? Against an Oakland team. The problem is, man, they have some good right-handed bats, right? Like that lefty against the righty, that can be a problem sometimes, especially with a big power team like Oakland. I think Heaney's a good tournament option. I don't hate it in cash at 7.7K, but I'm kind of with JSU. I kind of think I want to go down a little bit lower. I want to jam in some better bats. And if I'm going to go ahead and do that, I don't mind going to that Texas game. We've been doing that all year long. If you look, we got the K props on this game, and we got Allard. He's at 4.5, and then we got Margolicious, as I'm going to call him, instead of Margevicius. I'll call him Margolicious. He's at 5.5. It's juiced on the under, right? Like pretty heavy juice, but still, it's because of that Texas lineup, and there's a ton of Ks there. I'm definitely in on Mr. Margolicious. We're gonna eat that up and go for all the Ks. And if he gets you 10 fantasy points at that price, I'm not gonna be mad at 5.7K.
All right, just to recap here, and I kind of want to talk about FanDuel real quick. So, JSU, if you're playing FanDuel, give me your top 3. Like, obviously, price is going to be in there. Who do you trust Margevicius to be your starter in FanDuel? Or you can't do that, can you?
Oh man, that's tough. I don't know about FanDuel because, again, I like both these pitchers honestly, and they're both cheap. I think I would actually side with Allard if I had to pick between one. I mean, Allard 6,200, Margevicius is 6K. So really, there's not much of a difference. So whoever you like the most, you're going to take. So if I was going to take one of these two pitchers on FanDuel, it would be Allard. But like I said, on DraftKings, you could put them together. And then for the rest of it, I mean, I think for me, I mean, Bueller is 8.5 over on FanDuel. So he goes from being the top price pitcher on DraftKings to the fourth most expensive pitcher on FanDuel. Just a big pricing difference, a big, in my opinion, pricing error. So maybe that will make him more popular. I don't know. Maybe then Nola is a little better play on FanDuel if Bueller is going to be more popular at 8.5 because there's a huge price difference. So I think for me on FanDuel, I would just rank it as Bueller with the price difference 1, Nola if you're spending up, and then Allard if you're going down. Those are the 3 that I'm going to look at.
Mangone, if you're playing that one pitcher site, who's your guy over there?
Yeah, it's definitely Walker Bueller. I can't get off of him. He's just too good of an option there. I get it if you want to make the case for like an Aaron Nola, sure. If you want to like pivot to him, totally understandable, but not for me. The other thing too I'll mention is like FanDuel, it's easy just to get bats in, right? So like just eating that chalk pitcher, it's so much easier just to do over there on FanDuel. It's just like you're not making me make a decision. If you're making Alex Bregman, 6.4K in cores, and all those Astros like you did the other day, I have to make a decision on things. Like you're just making it too easy on me. So I'm just going to eat the good option. And that's what I typically do most of the time, unless there's got too many priced up bats in like a Coors Field slate. And it's not a Coors Field slate. We can find ways to get those value plays in other ways. So I'm in on Walker Bueller over on FanDuel.
All right, let's get back to the likes here, people. We're doing pretty good right off the bat. We were over 50. Slowed down a little bit, so come on, hit the like button. Maybe you'll get some free stuff again. We'll see how many we get to. I do want to mention that Atlanta, and somebody brought up in the chat, and I was looking at it, Atlanta has a little bit of a concern here with weather. It's supposed to rain, though, and get done pretty early. You would think they get the game in, but again, it's Atlanta, man. And that weather situation is just nuts because the thing will move through. And then I used to live out there. Once it gets raining, man, it's tough to get it to stop. So just know that that's there. And the last thing is, what's up, Keg? Keg he said, thanks for joining our live show last night. Yeah, that was more than fun. Sitting there, through 6 innings with JSU and Big T, and they're just sitting there sweating it out. And then the jealousy started to set in, and it all went to hell. So anyways, bats. Let's do some bats, boys. And we'll start with Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. Just anything here? JSU, anybody from this game?
I mean, me personally, I'm probably not going to have a ton from this game. Hauser, he's kind of been a little up and down, but the last two starts, he struggled a little bit. But he's still not a terrible pitcher, in my opinion. And he gets Pittsburgh. Not a bad matchup. I just don't think I'm going to have anyone from Pittsburgh. And then Milwaukee, no. Chad Kuhl's he's another guy. I just don't want to – I'm not going to take a ton from him. If you want to have a one-off, if you want to play Yelich or her or someone like that, I'd be fine with. But outside of it, maybe a smoke. Outside of that, I don't think I'm going to have anything from this game. It just doesn't interest me.
That's why I said you got anything. Mangone, anything.
Yeah, I mean, so we can make a case for some things in this game, the Milwaukee side. So on FanDuel specifically, Keston Herrera is he's definitely in play. It's easy to get, it's easy to get any bat that you want on a site like a FanDuel. I'd rather have Max Muncy probably at a similar price, but I don't hate him as an option here. But that's really about it. It's mainly because, again, when you have a lot of value and second base is a gross position, I think you could go that way. And again, I guess Yelich is always in play, but there's too many good bats on this slate where I don't want to spend my money on Yelich. I'd rather spend it in other areas.
Yeah, I want to talk about a team that might be the chalk. Cleveland's kind of woke up, and their implied total is 5.6, and that is a monster total. They're going up against Fulmer tonight. Fulmer's a complete disaster. He loves putting base runners. I think he legit likes having base runners out there and giving up runs because that's what it looks like when you watch him pitch. Mangone, let's start with you on this one. Cleveland, how popular is it? I feel like in cash, you got to have some parts, right?
Yeah, so Fulmer, you talk about liking to have runners on. He's a former Met, so of course he's really good at just, being terrible. Yeah, I'm a good with attacking Fulmer. He's a guy that I've been targeting, and I think we want to target him here with the Indians a bit. The problem is if you look at the price tags, right? Sure, the Indians are a good offense today. Is that how you want to spend your money? Do you want to allocate it there? I should mention in this lineup, like Tyler Naquin's too cheap at 3.3K. That's, a big T guy, right? And after what Big T did yesterday with his little specialists that go off, I think we have to mention him here in this spot. So, I think Tyler Naquin at 2.3K on FanDuel and 3.3K on DK. You can't ignore that. But yeah, I think that up and down this lineup, you look like the Cesar Hernandez, Jose Ramirez, Lindor, Carlos Santana, they're all in play. The bottom of the order is not as great. I guess maybe you could go with like a Domingo Santana at the bottom, but I don't know how to really. That's the problem with the Indians lineup. Their top of the order is just so stacked, and their bottom of the order, it gets really dry quick. It's tough out there.
Well, Adam Plitko's been bad on the other side, the Cleveland starter tonight. So JSU, I mean, you got to have some balls to roll out a Tigers lineup tonight. If you're only playing a couple of lineups, of course. So anything from the Detroit side, and can you play the Indians in GPPs, given that I think they're going to be popular? Are they going to be popular?
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be popular. It's probably a spot where, like Mangone said, like their bottom of the lineup is weak. I don't really want any of these guys at the bottom. Reyes's price is 4,600. Like I'm not going to pay that for Reyes. Lindor and Ramirez are always in play, but they're very expensive too. I think it's just a spot where I'm probably going to fade and hope it kind of does. Kind of like how we did the LA game where we kind of just faded and hope it's not that exciting. So I think that's what I'm going to do with Cleveland. I do agree with you though. I think they're going to be one of the more popular teams on the slate. From a stacking standpoint. And then Detroit, you're right. Puko's been bad. And if you're making a ton of lineups, Detroit's team is cheap. There, you could stack the two top pitchers in the same lineup and stack Detroit easily. It's not the worst thing in the world. I wouldn't mind it if you wanted something like a cheap stack, but it's not something that I'm looking to do today.
Hey, Mangone, I didn't ask you about the Tigers. Just yes or no. Anything?
No, we'll hit the nah wave on that one. We'll move on to the next one.
Yep, let's go to this is going to be interesting too, because I don't know how much Atlanta's going to be popular or Philadelphia's going to be popular. First of all, we're looking at weather there. Second of all, you got two good pitchers on the mound, Max Fried and Aaron Nola. So this is interesting too. It's not a good Braves lineup. Let's face it. No Albies. Acuna is not even swinging a bat right now. He might be gone for a while. So it's Swanson, Freeman, d'Arnaud, Marcell Ozuna. Are any of these guys doing anything for you? And then on the Philadelphia side, and we'll start with you, man, going on this. Going up against Max Fried, is there anybody there that you think you feel comfortable with that can hit a lefty hard enough where you would pay for them in a matchup that really is not a great one? To be honest with you, it's not terrific. There are some guys that do hit the lefties, but and Real Muto's hitting everybody. But give me the rundown on this one.
Yeah, so let's obviously talk about it. This is a spot where it looks like it could be a good place to go, but it has an 8 total. Like on the surface, if I didn't show you anything, you'd be like, yeah, maybe let's go with some of those Phillies righties against the lefty. And the only one I want to play is probably either like a Real Muto as a one-off or a Hoskins. I don't want to mess with it too much. Like if you're building out your stacks, right? Why don't you do if some people like to do the 5-2-1 to get unique? Maybe your 2-man stack on DraftKings is like Hoskins and Real Muto. Obviously on FanDuel it's a little more difficult, and like that you have to use your utility slot and can box you into some things, but that'd be like the two guys I would go on the Phillies, and that's it. And then on the Braves side, maybe I'd play Freddie Freeman as a one-off, but that's really it. Like I don't know what to do with this game. I think there's a couple guys here and there that can hit a home run, but I'm not trying to stack this game up.
JSU.
Yeah, Mangone said enough about this game, and I have no interest in it whatsoever. Like two good pitchers, weather concerns, just I'm off of it outside of pitchers if the weather, clears up.
All right. Now, I know you're going to be stacking the Orioles tonight, JSU, probably in at least 47 lineups. So
you jinxed them yesterday. I'll say this right now. You just downright jinxed them too.
It was just a bad call.
You called them one of the best hitting teams in baseball.
They were till last night,
but they're not. You could have said, yeah, they're hot right now, but you called them one of the best hitting teams in baseball. They're not.
Ever.
Oh, God, the worst.
Santander, Hall of Fame. Put him in right now, man. Rio Ruiz, no respect from anybody. But this is a fascinating game because we've got two offenses out there. You got a bullpen game for the Red Sox, and we know how horrible the Red Sox. My God, they have at least 5 guys that they've run out there that have no business being in the majors. Last check, they had 11 starters. We've been playing baseball for less than a month. They've started 11 guys and sure a couple of openers, but still, they're just horrible. And John Means, how do you not want to just crush John Means? So this game, to me, you guys got to have something from this game, JSU. Give me something.
I got something. It's the Red Sox. I'm going to be on the Red Sox today. And I talked about how I might be going, some cheap pitcher lineups where I go 2 cheap pitchers. And the Red Sox are really expensive. But I think I'm going to pay the prices on some of these guys, Devers, Bogarts, like the main guys, JD. Verdugo's been swinging a hot bat. I don't mind it, even though it's lefty. Like Means got pulled in like the first inning last game. He was just getting smacked, and they just pulled him right away. Pilar, he's cheap, 3,900. Even like a Jackie Bradley. Like I might get weird and stack this game up a few different ways. Because no one's going to play Jackie Bradley lefty at 3,400 and Verdugo 4,400. I mean, I kind of like the bottom of this lineup too. I think it's a spot where I'm going to have some, of the Red Sox. I'm going to have at least 2 lineups where I'm going to have some of the top and some of the bottom. I might do a wraparound stack. I haven't got that figured out 100% yet, but yeah, I definitely like it. And then from the Baltimore side, I think it's a side where you could easily take some pieces from the Baltimore side. I like it a lot better today than I did yesterday against Eovaldi. So I don't know. This might be a spot where I even full game stack this game. It just like literally just go 4 Baltimore and 4 Red Sox or something like that. And I really like this game. I'm going to go back to your boy Santander, who's just been really hot, and maybe a few other of these guys, Rio Ruiz, some guys with pop, you know what I mean? A few guys. And then Alberto has been, pretty solid this season. Like I'll go to some of those guys. Nunez, the Red Sox don't have really a first baseman. There's no Moreland in the lineup. Chavis is first and second eligible, but you can play him at second too. So I'm definitely going to look at both sides of this game.
So how about you, Mangone? I mean, we got JSU on the Orioles, a couple of Orioles tonight. So something's going on here. The arrow is pointing in one direction. Are you following that arrow?
Listen, I don't know. I get it. I've told you about the Orioles, Holden. My take on them is like they're great for like a 3-man stack, right? Like you want that secondary 3-man stack that no one's probably going to play. The Orioles are that for you. Like go for it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm a cash game guy, so it's rare that I'm looking for that like 3-game stack. Like it's just something I don't really mess with. If you have like a cheap value play and you want to play him as like a guy that can get you there, like I know a Hanser Alberto falls into that category sometimes on FanDuel. He can be a bit cheap. A Santander is one of those guys. Sure, I don't hate that route. I get it for tournaments though for JSU. On top of that, the Red Sox, let's talk about them. They're definitely hitting the ball a lot better, right? And we've been kind of like waiting for this offense to kind of come alive. I don't hate it here. It's not my cash game play. Like, I don't think I'm going to like be jamming in a ton of them in cash games, but in tournaments, I think they're definitely an interesting tournament option to definitely stack up. I mean, you want to, against John Means, you want to be getting these righties in, right? The JD Martinez, the Xander Bogaerts, all these guys up and down. Kevin Pillar is a nice cheap option that you can always go to, who's, hits lefties pretty well. I'm sure that's like a big T special lefty masher. So, ultimately this Red Sox team, I think that they're in play in tournaments. They're not bad for cash games, but there's other options I think I just prefer.
Can I just add on to real quick with the Baltimore side? I agree with Mangone, honestly, that like this team, you probably want like 3 or 4, even in tournaments, you're probably going to want like four pieces max. Like I could totally see myself stacking up Boston, like a 5-man stack, and then just having Santander in that lineup with my 5-man stack, or, playing Santander in Alberto or Santander in Nunez, something like that, like the right next to each other for the combo. So that's something I'll definitely be looking at doing.
We're all about the Santander tonight. Love it. Absolutely. We got Margavicius. We got Santanders. We got the all-name team tonight. We also have the Twins and the Royals. This Twins game was crazy. They did nothing till like the 8th inning. They put up a huge crooked number, and that's it. And I mean, that's baseball for you, right? So tonight, oh boy, you're going to have to make a decision on Nelson Cruz. He's 5'7". He's facing a left-hander. Danny Duffy's a guy I kind of like him. Sano can crush. Rosario. There's just so many guys in this Minnesota lineup that could do it. And then on the other side, I got nothing with the Royals, JSU. But boy, how do you handle the Twins tonight going up against Duffy?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm with you. I like Cruz. I just don't know if the Twins are going to make it onto my like. I think they're a fine stack. I just don't know if I'm going to go there as a full stack today. I don't have any issue with it though. I just don't know if they're going to make my 2 or 3 lineup build. That's my issue. Like Nelson Cruz as a one-off, yes, I will look at that. But the problem is, we'll get to it. But I really like Mike Trout, and they're close in price, and Nelson Cruz is going to be popular. Like he's going to take some ownership away from Trout, so it's not like Trout's just going to be by far the highest owned outfielder on the slate. Like they're pretty close in ownership. They're right now anywhere from 10 to 15% each, somewhere around there, both of them. So I don't know. I think I rather, even if Trout was 2 or 3% higher than Cruz, I think I'd rather have Trout if I'm going up that high. But I don't know, Mangone, do you like the Twins?
Yeah, so I don't mind them. Again, we haven't really got to the offenses I'm in love with. I think they're solid options to go to, but JC, you kind of I was literally thinking exactly what you said. I was like, what am I going to say to Holden when he says why is Nelson Cruz maybe not on your cash team? Well, there's this guy Mike Trout that I think I want to play. That's just really it. He's in a similar price range, and I think Mike Trout is just the better play. We talk about it all the time, Holden. You can stack up the Twins in tournaments. If you stack them every day, you can keep stacking them up. I'm not going to argue against that. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad idea. In cash games, though, I'm just not as in love with the Twins. Danny Duffy is a guy, yes, at times he gets shelled, and when he gets shelled, it's a disaster, right? You can tell when Danny Duffy's out there. When he throws 2 innings, you can tell if it's going to be a good day or bad day for him, it always feels like. So, if he's getting shelled from the start, it's probably going to be a rough day for me because I don't think I'm going to have too many Twins. Marlon Gonzalez, I don't mind as a cash game option. I think you can mix and match him as a value play. I don't hate him. Even Jake Cave, I know it's lefty, but hey, I don't know. BVP I look at occasionally, and it is weird. Jake Cave is 3 for 7. I know it's a very small sample, but he's got 2 home runs. So I don't know. Maybe Jake Cave has something on him. He's a really cheap punt that you can put in your outfield spot, on a site like a FanDuel specifically at 2.3K. That might help you get in, one of those bigger bats like a Bellinger or a Mike Trout later on. And then both those bats I like a ton. So ultimately, if you look at this Twins team, they're really good in tournaments. I think they're decent in cash games, but I think there's other offenses I'm on and cash games instead.
I want to go back to the O's real quick. We did have, and thanks for the note in the chat. I forgot to mention one bat from the Orioles. I think he's 2.7 on DK, Ryan Mountcastle. He is one of the top prospects with the Orioles. He had 25 bombs at Norfolk last year, 871 OPS. If you really want to get crazy and save some money and get a piece of the Orioles offense, I'm just throwing the name out there. That's all I'm saying.
All right. That's
Orioles stack. There's a salary saver, dude.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. You might need a little salary saver, in your Orioles stack. So I don't mind it. I mean,
whatever, right? Cubs, White Sox, Dallas Keuchel, who's been excellent this year. I mean, 58% ground ball rate. That's amazing. And then John Lester, who should be getting crushed every game and isn't. But then you got the White Sox going up against a left-hander like Tim Anderson and Eloy Jimenez and Edwin Encarnacion, who has been on fire. Oh, my God, Encarnacion has been crushing the baseball. Mangone, we start with you. Cubs, White Sox.
Yeah, so, I was late to the Edwin Encarnacion party. I missed that 37 spot game the day before, so that was frustrating. But I still love these White Sox here. I mean, I mentioned this earlier in the week, right? One of the days I didn't play the White Sox. And you know what I said, Holden? It was right after their first big day where they went off, and the next day they went off. I said, when the White Sox get hot, and I should have realized, when you hit 4 home runs in a row, 4 straight at-bats, the heater's going. It's on. So I'm not going to fade them here in this spot, right? Sure, their implied total may not look as sexy, right? 4, it's around like 4.9 or it's at 5, right? It's not above 5. And when it's above 5, people get more excited. It's just a little below that 5 mark. And I'm in on the White Sox. I think they're going to absolutely crush. It's a bad lefty. You get a dude like Tim Anderson who mashes them. You get Grandal in there who helps a terrible catcher position. Jose Abreu smashes the ball. Eloy Jimenez has been crushing it. Edwin Encarnacion, another one who's been crushing it. If you're like, I can't play the White Sox because they might be a little too popular, well, it's like you got Jose Abreu and Edwin Encarnacion that you have to pick between. I mean, you just can't play one, so it can make you a little different just in that way. Or just play none of the first basemen. I know that's risky, but that's a way you could be different if you really wanted to. Luis Roberts, another guy you have to like. Another guy I love about Danny Mendick is because second base is just terrible. I hate rostering second base. So I'll just punt the position with him in my stack, and it just makes it a bit unique too. So I'll go with that route. Ultimately, if you look at this up and down, I like the White Sox lineup. I'm loading up on it. It's one of my favorite stacks in the day, and I will not be touching the Cubs because I don't want to be touching them against Keuchel. He's not a guy that really gets shelled too often. He has smoke and mirrors and kind of makes things happen and gets by. So I want to go with a high upside team in the White Sox as my best stack.
Future Hall of Famer John Lester. He is going to the Hall of Fame, by the way. And listen, there's no reason that this guy is this good this year, just from your old school stats. It still scares the hell out of me, JSU. I mean, I don't think it's easy. Mangone, I'm good for you. You got some balls on this one, man, because I don't think it's easy just say, I'm going to go with the White Sox tonight because they're hot. This damn John Lester seems to put everybody on base and get out of the jams. JSU, either side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, I love the White Sox. I love them. I've been on them through this kind of like hot run, but man, I just don't want to pick on John Lester. Like, I just don't want a full stack against them. Like, I get taking pieces. Like, I don't mind having like a little mini stack of like Encarnacion, Luis Roberts, kind of that 5-6, Luis Roberts 4K, Grandal at catcher. Like, I don't mind if you want a one-off like that, but I don't know, like in this bottom of the lineup, that doesn't look that great. Like, just, I think I'm off the full stack of the White Sox, unfortunately. I want to be on him, but I can't do it against Lester. Like, I need to see him get shelled. Like, I need to see it before I start picking on him like that.
So then we got the Cardinals hosting Cincinnati. We talked about DeSclafani briefly. We need to talk about him more. Some of the peripherals this season, not good. And it's because of his one start where he just got completely crushed. So I'm going to throw that out. You do have Cincinnati, and DeSclafani has struggled against left-handers. So there's no question about that. Brad Miller, Tyler O'Neill. I mean, where are you attacking this game, JSU, on both sides, really, for Cincinnati and for St. Louis? I think one of my calls last night was under for the first 5 for this game because I don't think that either pitcher is going to get hammered. I think that they can get through this lineup pretty well.
Yeah, I think it might be a spot where, outside of like a cheapie, like a Jesse Winker, if you wanted to go with him at 3,500, a Freddie Galvis at hitting 8, 3,200, and then they got the cheap outfilders, Van Meter, 2,900. Like, you could take pieces of this game, but I don't know if I'm going to have I don't know if I'm going to have a full stack. I might just do like a Galvis one-off or a Moustakas. Like, if I was going to pay up for someone, it would definitely be Moustakas. I think those two and Winker are like the 3 I'm really looking at, and they'd probably be one-offs or in a mini stack, something like that.
Mangone, other side of things, you like anything from here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't love this game. I think there's guys you can take shots on here and there. The one guy I was going to mention, it's because it's FanDuel specific too. I play a lot more on FanDuel than DK. It's Matt Carpenter. His price is pretty good at 2.6K. So I don't mind going him if you want for like a little bit of a value play. Brad Miller is another one too. Like, he's pretty cheap that I wouldn't mind taking a shot on. But I'm not in love with this game. I'm kind of just hoping this one ends like 4-2, 3-2, not a lot goes on. It just doesn't burn me, doesn't help me. But I will say on FanDuel specifically, the Matt Carpenter is like the one guy I'm kind of looking at as maybe a value play I might mix in throughout my lineups.
By the way, we're 40 minutes into the show. We got 103 likes. We're doing well. JSU, come on. We got about 20, 25 minutes left in the show. Set a number for us. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at 282 live watching right now. Oh, man, I want to say 150, but let's get to 130. We can get to 130. I'm not worried about that. So 130 is the number. Yeah, we still got a few games to go. That's the thing with these big slates. You don't have to have, a ton from every single game, or you got to pick your spots. Like I really still think on these big slates, people stretch themselves a little too thin and they don't just kind of focus in on like 2 or 3 spots that they really like. That's like a problem with some of these big slates. People just take too many different things. That's why you'll see sometimes we'll get to a game and I'll just be like, nah, don't really like it that much. Like we got 13 games.
Well, here, let's get to another game because I'm not so sure the Astros are going to be highly owned tonight, going up against Garrett Richards. And on the other side, you've got San Diego going up against Lance McCullers. I mean, these are 2 excellent offenses. But that's the immovable object. And then you got, it's unstoppable on the other side with their offenses. So, Mangone, what's the cash play here in this game? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like Lance McCullers, he hasn't been like as good as I wanted him to be. And the Padres are one of those teams that have been really hot. I don't hate going to the Padres as like a stack. Like it's going to be contrarian, I think, and low owned. So in tournaments, I think that makes some sense. Again, like Lance McCullers and seeing a total that's almost about 5, that should be ringing some bells off that this Padres team is one that just, if you've been playing them, like JSU, I want to get your take on this. I'm very curious because you rode the Padres a little bit yesterday. I think you had some of them on at least one of your teams. So I'm assuming you'll go back to the well on some Padres, even though it is Lance McCullers, because it'll just make people uncomfortable. And the Astros side, I don't really think I want to attack Richards too much. I think there's better offenses on this slate. I get it. The Astros have been hitting hot and hitting well, but I don't know. I don't love the Astros side. I think I just like more offenses on this slate, but I want to really get JSU's take on this game.
Yeah, just do it, JSU. And go once.
Yeah. I mean, I do kind of like this game. I'll tell you one guy who I'm definitely going back to is Tatis Jr. There is no way I'm not playing some Tatis Jr. Today. I played him yesterday. I'm going to go back to him again today. I mean, and he's going to be, under 10%. Guy's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. Just sign me up. I know it's against a good pitcher, but still, I just think he's so good. And honestly, if you wanted to stack San Diego as a full stack in like large field GPP, I don't hate it. I honestly don't hate the Houston side too. They're kind of expensive, obviously. So I think they're going to get overlooked as well. So I don't mind the Houston stack here either. I think if I was full stack and I could only pick one side, I think I would lean actually the Houston side. But Tatis is definitely my favorite play from this game as a one-off.
All right. So if I said you can only have one, regardless of price tonight, Tatis.
It's Tatis. Yeah, it's Tatis. Over who?
Over Trout.
Oh, over Trout?
Yeah.
I thought you said
I
this game.
I said all things being equal because you love Trout tonight. So
I would go Trout over Tatis Jr. tonight. Yeah. If price didn't matter, though, right? Like price doesn't matter. We're just picking one.
Just who's the best player tonight on this slate?
It'd be Trout. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we move on to our next game, Texas and Seattle. Can we just move on to the game after this? There's nobody here, is there? Mangone, JSU, anybody?
I'm out unless JC wants to talk about that guy. Is it Danny Santana, the dude that Big T liked or you liked yesterday that you had in your mind?
Danny Santana, Big T's guy. He got me on him. I think you could go to him, but I'm going to be more on the pitcher side here, so I'm probably not going to have any of the bats on either side. So this game is a complete stay away for me, at least from the hitter's perspective. I'm going to be on the pitchers.
Oh, we're getting so close. We got 123 likes here. We got to get to 150. Is that what you said, JSU?
I said 130. Let's get to 130 first. Yeah.
130, and if we get to 150, Jay Reed, we'll give out a small shirt. That'll be great. I can't believe you only wear a medium, Mangone. I mean, I'm a skinny guy, and I still wear a large. What's going on here?
It depends on the shirt. I mean, so I got to try him on. So I actually asked Big T when he got him. I said, I can float between medium and large. So just, give me the heads up. Do they run big? Do they run smaller? And he said medium would work for me. So I said, okay. And it fits perfect.
Like Big T's extra large. He's a big dude, right? Or is he extra, extra large just because he's so big? Like, beefy.
I'm not sure. He might, I don't know, whatever's his comfort. I don't know if he wants to flex those biceps and stuff on the workbench with the shirt on. So.
All right, guys. Moving on. I'm glad we did not spend any time on this stupid Seattle, Texas game because we talked about the pitchers. JSU loves both of them, Angels and the A's. Oh, yeah. I love me some baseball out in Oakland where the ball does not fly. Andrew Heaney is tonight's pitcher, 24.5% K rate. He's not a big-time fly ball pitcher. I don't mind Heaney very much. And the thing about Oakland, though, and I'm looking forward to you guys' thoughts about some of these guys, these right-handers like Canna and Laureano, and Olsen ends up hitting left-handers pretty well. And on the other side, we got Mike Fiers. And you guys love to attack Mike Fiers, don't you? Mangone, both sides of this game.
Yeah, so I mean, I like to attack Mike Fiers. I saw the chat was actually talking when I mentioned the one BVP reference. They were talking about Mike Trout, so I decided to pull it up because I know it's good against Fiers. Mike Trout is 12 for 33 against Mike Fiers, 4 doubles and 5 home runs. So he absolutely destroys him. Mike Trout is someone I like playing. I want to play him probably in my cash games. He's someone I think you want to prioritize a bit today. If you have the money for it, definitely get him in your lineups. He's a really good option. He's Mike Trout. I get it. Every day you want to play him, but I think this Angels team is a really good offense to go to. Up and down the lineup, right? Otani's another good guy you can go to. Rendon, Listella, and Fletcher at the top, I don't mind. I mean, this is a good lineup, and I always like to talk about this. Like, catcher isn't the most fun position in a roster. If you can go like a Jason Castro, like, I don't mind that, right? Like, that helps kind of make your lineup maybe a little unique and takes up a catcher spot, which is always the worst to have to deal with. So I love this Angels stack, and I think you can make a case for the A's. Like, again, like the power righties against a lefty like Heaney. He could blow up. I don't think it's something I'm doing, in like a $250 tournament or like a single entry max. But if you wanted to get like a maybe lower owned stack, I wouldn't hate it. And if it's like you're really trying to be unique, I think it's okay to go with, but not my favorite stack of the day or anything.
Yeah, see, that ballpark just scares the hell out of me. I can't I feel so uncomfortable with Oakland all the time. It's cold there at night. It's a gigantic park. It just seems like the unders hit quite a bit. So anything besides for Trump?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Angels side too. I'm kind of with Mangone. I'm probably going to have some Angels. I mean, Rendon's expensive, but he's been hitting the ball well. Listella, Fletcher, I think those guys are fine if you're stacking it up, and Trout, honestly. But I'm definitely going to have a heavier lean on the Angels as opposed to the A's.
Doyers and Rockies. So we like Walker Buehler tonight. Colorado's on the road, so obviously there's a big issue there. And then you've got the Dodgers going up against John Gray, who just can't seem to get it together, man. He's getting hit hard, about 45% if you combine both sides. Everybody's hitting him hard. He's striking out. He's got a 15% K rate. Are you kidding me? John Gray's just gone backwards. So we're not going to attack the Rockies unless you got a one-off for us, JSU. So what about the other side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers are going to be very popular again tonight. And I think it's, again tonight, a spot where I'm just going to fade it and hope it busts again like it pretty much did. I mean, it pretty much did yesterday. It didn't erupt where you needed any of them. So that's just what I'm going to do and hope that's the same outcome today.
Mangone, cash plays.
Yeah, so I'm definitely – what'd you say, Holden?
You kind of already talked about it, didn't you?
No, I mean, I definitely like the Dodgers here in this spot. I get what JSU is doing. I totally understand it. These prices are really high too. That's the other problem with this Dodgers team, right? If you stack them up, like if you do a 5-man stack, like you definitely box yourself out of some other plays. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I definitely want to get some Dodgers exposure on this slate. I would probably say Cody Bellinger. He's like probably one of my favorite guys. If I had to pick, he obviously will crush people. Jock Peterson, he's always in play, but there's always that pinch hit risk. So you have to worry about that. Corey Seager, another one at shortstop, was a good play. But shortstop's pretty loaded. We talked about Tatis. There's Xander Bogaerts. There's a lot of good shortstops on this slate. And then Justin Turner, he's another guy I want to look at. And Max Muncy, I mean, up and down, it's a really good lineup. So, and last thing I'll mention with the catcher position, again, I talked about with the Angels. It's the same thing with the Dodgers. You can go a guy like an Austin Barnes for a cheap price tag, and maybe helps make that Dodger stack a little bit more unique. And on top of that, it helps, again, fill that really terrible catcher position. So a lot of ways you can go here. And he talked about another lefty. Let's mention him, Matt Beatty, right? He can hit righties pretty well, and John Gray struggles the lefty. So up and down this lineup, this Dodgers team is really good. It's going to be one of my top 3 stacks of the day. It just depends on how much I'm going to mix and match with them throughout my lineups. Because again, I'm paying for Walker Buehler, so it's not like I can just jam in all the Dodgers in the world.
Guys, when we were talking about pitching, we were talking about Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray has been a disaster. I mean, he's almost got 70% fly ball rate this year. That's almost impossible. 70% fly ball rate, just under that. So is this the night to go after Robbie Ray, JSU? Are we doing it again, or is Robbie Ray all of a sudden magically going to turn into a pumpkin and throw a no-hitter?
I don't think the no-hitter's happening. You want to talk about a team that's been hot? San Francisco has been on fire lately. So, I mean, we're definitely going back to the San Francisco well. I'll tell you that right now. Yastrzemski, Slater. I'm not going to play Crawford, even though he hit a bomb. Longoria. I really like most Flores. Of course, we're going to play Wilmer at 3,900. Barely got a price bump. Bart is cheap, 2,300. They got the cheap catcher. I like most of this lineup. I'm probably the only spot I'm probably not going to play is the 8-9 spot. I think everyone else is kind of in play for me today. So yeah, I'm going to be heavy on the Giants again. I think they're a nice cheap stack. Outside of Yastrzemski, really you don't have to. Oh, and Solano, so he's 5K. That's pretty pricey, but outside of those two guys, everyone else is pretty cheap. So I'm definitely going to have some Giants.
Would you go down to Pence? Would you go there?
If I needed it, yeah. I guess he'd be fine as like a last piece. He's 2,600, but he's not someone I'm trying to get. You know what I mean?
Hey, Logan Webb is not very good either, but he doesn't give up the hard contact if we're looking at the Arizona side. So I want you to get to both games or both teams here, Mangone, from a cash perspective. Like there's been a couple of these San Francisco bats that I've been playing all year, and Yastrzemski's one of them. And hopefully not too many people outside of the Run Pure guys are watching this because we've been hammering them then. And this is really the week it's completely paid off. So Giants bats, and then on the other side, the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, so Diamondbacks, like, I'm just not going to do it. I know Logan Webb is not great. Like, I guess if like you wanted to in like the lower dollar GPPs, like I wouldn't argue against it. If you have a strong take on it, like go for it, but not for me. I'm out on the Diamondbacks. The Giants side, I get it. They're hot. If you want to keep riding them out, like keep riding them out. I totally understand. I just think in cash games, like there's just a lot of offenses I prefer on this slate instead. It's just not something I can end up doing. I'm sorry. It's tough. If you want to like mix and match these guys throughout like your single entry lineup or your one lineup too, like I don't hate that, right? Like if you wanted to do like a cheap Wilmer Flores that against a lefty who's been crushing the ball, sure. I don't hate that. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's a route that you can go. I just don't see myself stacking up. Again, I'm talking cash games and tournaments. If they've been working for you, go for it. But I'm not going to jump on like the Giants that might get a little bit chalkier after what happened last night in tournaments.
Well, wait a second though, Mangone, are they going to be chalky? That's
I don't know.
Question right there. I don't think they're going to be chalky against Robbie Ray. I mean, I know he hasn't looked great, but people still know Robbie Ray. People, I would assume, still think of him as a decent pitcher with some decent strikeout stuff, even though he hasn't looked that great this year. But are the Giants going to really be chalky? I don't think so on this slate.
Mangone, I bet they are less than 4% owned as a team.
You're probably right? Like I'm probably in my own bubble thinking that's the case because of what happened with us yesterday. So you guys are probably right. It's not for me. I get it. It's not a cash game thing. Even like my one lineup, like it's not going to be for me. I just have a stronger conviction on the White Sox, right? So it's hard for me to just be playing, all of the Giants in the world. But I get it in large field tournaments. Like, I totally understand it. I'd rather play the Giants over the Arizona Diamondbacks. I talked about the A's earlier. I'd probably rather play the Giants over the A's. The more I even think about it and look at it. So they're definitely in the conversation. Even the Astros, like I don't love the Astros. I'd probably rather play the Giants over them. So if I was building 150 lineups, I think they would make the cut. But they're not making the cut for my cash game or my single entry stuff.
All right, let's see what stacks here.
I'm building like 3 or 4 lineups, and they're definitely making the cut. Mm-hmm. Man goes like 150, and I'm not making one.
JSU, I said 150. I would. Would they make the cut for me on 3 to 4? They might, but one lineup, JSU. I know they won you money yesterday. If it was one lineup, would you be playing the Giants?
Yes.
It depended. Okay, so this question depends on what I do at pitcher, because if I went double stud, I would 100% have these cheap Giants in there. Like, so that's my thing. It kind of depends on what you want to do at pitcher, because I liked the Giants yesterday a lot, and we were more heavy on them because I liked all the guys at the top, really, and there wasn't anyone that I loved punting with, even though I didn't mind Eovaldi. I just didn't end up doing it just because I felt more comfortable with the guys at the top. So that's the question, right? Is do you want to play Nola and Bueller together or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, do you want to play two high-priced pitchers? And if you do, the Giants are should definitely be in play for you if you're playing those two pitchers together.
So that's the interesting thing, just real quick, because this is a game theory thing. They're going with the two studs, but are there two studs that you feel comfortable with? Like if you're going out there tonight, Walker Bueller, we know he struggled, but we're looking at his numbers, the bigger picture, he's looking good. Who's the second guy? Who's the second big guy you're paying up for tonight?
I mean, if Aaron Nola, if there's no weather concern, then I guess it would be Aaron Nola. Yeah, the next guy I feel comfortable with, I mean, Max Fried actually would be in that same game. And if there's weather concerns, I'm not going to play either of them if they're weather concerns. So, I mean, DeSclafani, I don't know, has a decent matchup. I don't know. That's a good question. So maybe the Giants are paired with the Red Sox, or the Giants are paired with the Dodgers. I don't know. Like maybe it's one of those things where you do something like that. I'm not going to play the Dodgers, but I'm just saying for people out there, maybe you go up top and down low for an SP2 and then play the Giants with someone else.
All right, very good. Let's get to your stacks. JSU likes the Red Sox, the Giants, and a little Orioles. Anything else that I'm missing here? Your top three.
Yeah, I think it would be the Red Sox. Well, the Red Sox if I'm going expensive. The Giants would be next. And then, yeah, it might be the Angels. Yeah, it might be the Angels third.
All right. How about you, Mangone? You just throw out a stack for everybody. Who's your favorite stack tonight? White Sox?
Well, real quick, I want to give JSU the sales pitch. I might be making this show go run a little longer, Holden, but I got to give JSU the sales pitch. I want to see if I can convince him here on this one. So he talked about John Lester, right? You talked about how, he just makes it happen with smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. But JSU, you say some stuff to me all the time. I heard you in the Discord chat. You got to do some stuff that's uncomfortable at times, right? And yeah, stacking against John Lester, it's not as comfortable. But look at the offense he went against.
It
right?
should be comfortable, though. This is what makes me uncomfortable about it, is because it should be comfortable because he's washed, but he just doesn't get hit like he is. But I know for a fact he's washed, but that's my point. You're using my points against me, but I'm saying to you, that's what makes me uncomfortable is every team should be smacking this dude around pretty much that's halfway decent, and they're not.
Well, I'm just going to let me explain the games he played. He played against Cincinnati, which again, he only went 5 innings too. Cincinnati is not a big problem for me. Like, I don't think their offense is amazing. It's decent. He played against Pittsburgh. Of course, Pittsburgh's terrible. And that game was in Chicago, right? Wind was blowing in. Cleveland, he got it done. I get it. But the next game was against Milwaukee, and that wind was blowing in, and he gave up 3 earned runs. If you look, all the hard hit numbers are there. And the thing with the White Sox, JSU, if the White Sox hit John Lester, what are they going to do? They're not going to single him to death. That's not what they're going to do. The White Sox, they hit bombs. When they hit the ball, it's an if-then statement. When the White Sox are on fire, they hit bombs. They go yard. That's why I want to go with this, because I want to get those points. I want to get those home runs, and that's where I get them from. So White Sox stack, that's one of my stacks I'm going to be playing. I'll have a little bit of exposure in cash games. I don't know if I'll go the full stack in cash. I think I'll mix and match some of the bats here and there.
No. You should be full stack in this game. You got so much conviction right now, Mangone. Well, you got to full stack this game now.
No, well, I'm full. I'm
just
full
trying
stacking.
To sell me on it.
Listen, I'm trying to be fully transparent. I'm full stacking in my main tournament team over on Draftkings. I am full stacking it. I'm going to mix and match probably more White Sox than most. I am. I'm not going to tell you which guys I'm playing. I might not do the full 4-man stack, but I don't think today is maybe a day where I'm going a full 4-man or 5-man stack. I think I'm maybe mixing and matching bats throughout. I like the Dodgers bats a ton. I think there's guys that I want to get exposure to there. I like the Angels bats a ton. So those are my 3 favorite stacks. It's just not a 4 or 5-man stack day for me on FanDuel or Draftkings. That's kind of why. That's more the reason. You're going to see White Sox in my lineup. If you pull up my name, you're going to see a ton of White Sox. I'm definitely going to have them in there.
So here's the thing, though, is I don't mind having 1 or 2 White Sox in my lineup. I just don't want a full stack against John Lester. That's all I said. I just think as a full stack, I'm not going to do it. But I'll take 1 or 2. I said that already.
Well, DK, you're going to see more. You're going to see 3 or more for sure. You will probably see 4. I'm thinking, at least right now, you're seeing 4. Unless like there's like I'm tinkering around and it's like, oh, I could get Bellinger in here. Like, of course, I might make the small move to that. But you're going to see a lot of White Sox over on the DK tournament team, the main team I'm making, and you'll see White Sox on FanDuel as well.
All right, I listen. I like the White Sox as a team. They did me good the last couple of. I'm for it. If they keep hitting, I'll be happy for you. I'll
Yeah, real quick, Corey's asking, he says, Mangone, why won't you tell us which White Sox to play? We are paying for your advice. This is a free show. So, yeah, I'm not going to tell you here. I'm going to have it in my core play. So go check out my core plays over there. You will at least see one White Sox in the core play for sure. You can check out my tiers too. I'll have White Sox in the tiers. You'll see which ones I like for sure.
Oh, and also, yeah, I was going to say, and also get in the Discord, because if you have a question about, Mangone, what White Sox are you playing? I like the White Sox stat. You can just ask him in the MLB channel in Discord. So get over there in the Discord and ask Mangone. Say, Mangone, give me your 4 favorite White Sox to stack, or whatever the order is that you want. Like that. That's where you're going to ask these questions, right? Same thing with me. Like hit me up in the Discord.
And if they don't answer your questions, you can beat the shit out of them. That's the deal. If you read the fine print, I wouldn't mess with you, JSU. You're just sort of stocky guy. I'm not messing with you. Mangone? I don't know. What's the line on this? How many rounds does this last, JSU? Me and Mangone.
Oh, man. I think Mangone's scrappy. I think Mangone's scrappy, so I could see it lasting a good bit. I say you guys go 5 rounds, and the cardio starts to kick in. You guys both get gas.
Done then. I'm working on a busted Achilles. I got no cardio going on right now. Yeah, I'm screwed. Mangone, you'd beat me.
Hold on. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to last. You're going to have to knock me out. So just go all out for the first minute. Like if your Achilles is going to bust, try to get me in the first minute. I'm going to scrap in there, man. I might not win, but I'm going to take the punches for sure.
Yeah, what worked for me in high school was shanks. I often carried the shank. You laugh now. Look at the damage you can do with a shank, man. Especially if you get the guy in the kidney. But instead of doing the home run thing, could I ask you guys about your little one-offs today? I'd rather know about your one-offs than your home runs. I don't care about home runs. These guys can figure it out themselves. So we talked about the big guys like Trout and Tatis Jr. Is there any lower-priced guys you're just going to tonight? Where can I find a salary saver? You talked about Naquin, maybe Naquin being a guy. JSU, who's the one-off? A couple of these one-offs that I could just stick in and get some salary relief.
Well, here's the thing: is I think I'm going to use the Giants as my salary relief in my stacks. So that's one thing for me. But I'm definitely going to go back to some Freddie Galvis. I'm on the Freddie Galvis train. I'll definitely go back to him. So I do like him at 3,200. But yeah, I'm going to use the Giants as like my cheap guys. So I might use them in like mini stacks, full stacks, depending on what I need. But that's where I'm going.
Mangone.
Yeah. So if you want to like do it with the Dodgers, right? The cheap way to go is to go with a guy like Matthew Beatty at 2.8K at first base, right? Like that'd be super unique, or like an Austin Barnes. That's a way to do that with your Dodger stack. That'd be a route to go. Let me see with the Angels. You're not doing it with Albert Pujols. I don't know where you're doing it with the Angels. I'll be honest. Let me look for my White Sox and see which one I would go with there. I mean, I'd go with Edwin Encarnacion. I think first base is loaded. He might not be, the cheapest option, but also Danny Mendick, right? I talked about it earlier. Second base eligible, helps with a really terrible position, just helps you get big bats, right? Sometimes it's okay just to punt the position. Like JSU, you won with Fernando Tatis yesterday, right? And Fernando Tatis had 6.5, correct? He was on like the winning lineup.
He had 7. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 7. It's like you can, and he cost a lot. So you can win with a guy that has 7 on your team. So it's certainly possible. People always say, oh, I need all my guys to go off. I have to hit the nuts. That's not necessarily true. I know you play a higher buy-in. I'm sure we could look at JT's team. And I'm sure he's got a guy sitting there with 5 fantasy points that end up being part of it. Yeah,
well, JT had friggin' Matt Chapman who just went crazy too. That was what got him home, I think.
Dude, that was a monster. That's 3. I forgot about JT. Good job, JT. You kind of the forgotten man because you weren't on the Sweat Show, dude. But congrats.
No, he came on. He came on at the end of Sweat with us. When you guys all went to bed. All went to bed, and friggin' JT was the man. He came on. He was a little tipsy too, So it was a lot of F-bombs being dropped, but it was fine. Like JT was, he was on with us. He stayed up.
So I got to make sure that we don't get repeat winners, but I'm going to go with Steve Anthony, who just thanked Uncle T for something. I don't know what. Steve Anthony, you get some swag. So how do they get in touch with you guys so they can get their swag, JSU?
So, one, Steve Anthony, have you won? Because I think Steve Anthony's won. I'm not
like
sure
Steve
on
Anthony's
this.
won, but
I feel like he's won. I've won already.
Won.
Thank you, Steve Anthony.
Thank you, Steve,
so,
being honest.
Two, we give a scroll, Holden. We don't just pick someone randomly. We scroll. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to put on the show and dress it up a bit, Holden.
What about Steve Anthony?
Get out of here. I just landed
Valerie Cerna.
All right. There you go.
I think that's a female too. I love having more women in DFS. Absolutely love it. Sports betting, just not getting the opportunities. You deserve it, ladies. Absolutely. Valerie, if you're a woman, congrats. If you're a guy, I'm sure you get the shit beaten out of you a lot because your name. Anyways, are we done here? We all done?
Yeah. Valerie, make sure you hit up Big T either in the Discord. If you're in the Discord over at Run Pure Sports. If not, hit him up on Twitter at Big T44, or you can hit up the Run Pure Sports main Twitter account. Right, Mangone?
Yep. Yeah, you can do it there as well.
All right. People are laughing their asses off. That's all we want you to do. We want you to win. We want you to have fun when you're watching these videos too. So really appreciate it. And do not forget, listen, I didn't know what a Discord was before I joined these guys. And now you get picks, they answer your questions, they do everything for you. It's wonderful. So go to the Discord, and if you haven't signed up for Run Pure, just do it already. Because all these guys do is win. I'm even winning. I'm winning fractions of what they're winning, but I'm winning. You know.
Yeah, I'll. Someone's asking me about hopping in the NBA Discord. I'll hop in the NBA Discord right when we get off this thing, guys. Just give me 1 minute. I'll hop in there. All right.
The Nuggets were down 90-60 a couple of minutes ago. Just I'm throwing my lineup away. It's done. Jokic is probably killing me. All right, guys. Good stuff. Good night tonight. Have a lucky night. Mangone, have a lucky night. Well, you don't need a JSU. I'll just give it to myself then. And we'll catch you.
Bye, guys.
Go to Discord.